what information can you share for the students, the staff, teachers, and for parents?
Okay, so one of them can be used for all of them. We have to start, and I'm gonna say we, because we are all going into this season. In the summertime, you eat stuff that you not normally would eat during the year, because you have all this extra time and you treat yourself. So doing a cellular cleanse, cleaning your body out, cleaning this, when you clean the cells, you're cleaning every part of the body out. So doing a good cellular cleanse, blood purifying herbs would help to get yourself the junk out of your body. Okay. The second thing I would say is for the children, making sure that you give your children things that are good for like immunity, echinacea golden seal, putting these things inside their body, because all these different germs are going to start coming up underneath one building. And so, of course, children try, but they tend to be little germy beings, and it's very easy to get ill because of the germs in the environment. So it's better if you get your immunity as high as possible. And that is not only for the children, but that would be for the teachers as well. And I would also suggest that cutting out sugar for the child during the daytime and in the morning would be good for their brain function. When you give a child things that convert to sugar or that are sugar, it impedes them from being able to think and to, kind of like hold their attention. And that's why they call the attention deficit, because that sugar alters the brain and it makes you very fidgety, and because it's just like crack. And so you don't want your kids fiending through school and having behavior problems. Try to give them natural things to eat. Get them some celery or some carrots. So if they're going to snack on something, give them something that comes from nature and something that is a whole food to help stabilize their thought process so they can get the information that they need and that they can actually keep the attention that they need to keep. So that is another thing. I would also suggest upping your water consumption, because when you're in school in these buildings, you're not getting a lot of sunlight. You're getting the unnatural sunlight from the lights. And so giving the child water and putting lemon inside the water helps to keep their body alkaline, helps them to keep them calm, you understand, and also keep them from falling asleep. If you give them a high carbohydrate diet, they have a hard time staying awake. So these are all good things. And for the teachers and the parents, really try to lower your consumption of coffee, because coffee is an unnatural stimulant. It's a concentrated stimulant. And when you give your body a stimulant, it doesn't give you energy. It actually takes away from the reserve energy that the body produces, so that if there's something that goes on in the body, if you get sick, the body has something to fight with. But it's like taking the reserve tank out of the, say if you have a car and you have the gas tank and you have a reserve tank. So if that first gas tank becomes empty, then you got a reserve tank that can carry you through. Well, when you drink coffee, it takes from the reserve tank. And that's why we have such a high incidence of sickness, illness, and disease. So instead of doing coffees, try to get yourself a tea, a non-caffeinated tea. Try to find things like that to ingest in the morning and start to detox yourself off of having teas, because sometimes you can be agitated because your body is fiending for the caffeine that you can't have while you're teaching. You might have a short temper with the students. You need a lot of patience when you're teaching. So having just the natural things that can maintain and stabilize your energy. And one great thing for teachers and as well as the students is to be able to have raw fat. So like avocados or raw nuts and seeds. Parents, if you can give your children, put in a little bag and give them some raw cashews or raw nut if they're not allergic. Please make sure they're not allergic to it. But a raw nut butter or avocado. If they can't do nuts and seeds, give them the avocado And that helps to stabilize the energy so that they can maintain a balance throughout the day, because the school day is pretty long.
Definitely. And you need your greens too. Greens is always good.
Absolutely. You have to have it, because if you're not eating, you only have three choices. You have carbohydrates, you have proteins, and you have fats, right? Well, carbohydrates is in two different forms. You have green leafy carbohydrates. So if you're eating kale, if you're eating cabbage, they still have an element of starch in them, but they're not a primary starch, other than, like, say for like French fries and rice. These things are 100% starch. Okay, so that's not something you're going to want to give them when they have a school day. You want to give them the green leafy carbohydrates and give them just a little bit of starch. So like you say, do a lot of your greens, and you can give them just a little bit of brown rice. Don't overcarb yourself or your children, because it burns the nerves out. It converts to sugar. It floats in the blood. The body only has so much insulin to activate. It's not bad. Carbohydrates converting to sugar is not a bad thing. It's how much are you doing of it? Okay, that's the thing. We overstarch ourselves. So in knowing that, you can only get 15% starch, like the 15% out of 100%. You get 15% starch, okay? 15% protein, 15% carbohydrate. 15 times 3 is what? 45, right? So that's 45%. The rest, which is 55%, should be eaten with greens. So it's how you do it. It's how you do it. So don't just give them something, a dish that's just rice and something, because that is going to burn their energy out. And it's also going to burn their pancreas out, and they'll be future diabetics if they keep that posture and that process of eating. So like we say, Brother R.o.j.o, we want things to be balanced. And when you understand how to balance it, then the body knows what to do with it. The body knows how to manage it. It knows how to manage your energy.
And speaking of balance, there's three levels when it comes to a full day experience, going to school and home. The first step is the preparation before you leave your home to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not only for students, for staff members, for teachers, and for parents. What are some preparation one should take before they